Today, we wish you all the best with your bidding. We wish our vendors inside all the best with their auction here today. Now's the time. We hand it across to you. We look for an opening bid and we keep going to the property sold. And if they can't see your bid, please politely yell it out. 2.1, great start, great bidding. There's your competition, ladies and gentlemen. 2,100,000. I'll take a slender rise of 10. All the best, guys. At 2.1, clearly bid, clearly offered at 2.1. At 2,100,000, looking for a slender rise of 10 on top. 10 if you may. At 2,100,000, clearly bid, clearly offered. Quick auctions with auction buys. First time calling now at 2.1. Twice now at 2.1. They're coming, don't worry. Third and final call, all done, all finished, all silent, at 10,
25.
at 25, even better, at 25, at 2125, at 2125 and 10, why don't we go to 50? I appreciate that, at 2135, at 2135 against you now, Sebastian, at 2,135. At 2,135, looking for 10 on top, something stronger maybe. At 2,135, bids here. At 2,135, call it 3 times. 10 at 45. At 55. Fight fire with fire, guys. The more you think about it, the more it makes sense. Investing at these levels. Beautiful single level family home. Much loved home at that. Ready to move in, nothing to do. Here we are at 2,155,000. At 2,155. Another 10 on top. Went to school locally, know my numbers. At 2,155. Bids here 3 times. First time calling at 2,155. Twice the call now at 2,155 and 10 and 65 and 75. I've got it now at 75. Little ones aren't working. Why don't we jump the bidding a little bit? Suggest a 2-2. Might just do the trick. At 2,175, it's here. At 2,175, we're all very polite today. I appreciate that, but today's not the day to be polite. Today's the day to push in, secure a beautiful family home. At 2,175, bids here. At 2,175, 3 times. How are we going over there, Felicity? Need to know. First time and got it now at 85. At 10, 95. At 2-2, I suggested earlier, might just do the trick. Why don't you jump the bidding at 2,195? At 2,195, it's here. At 2,195, if you'd like to get involved, ladies, let me know. At 2,195, it's here. At 2,195, first time at 2,195. Second time calling at 2,195. Third and final call, all done, all finished, all silent at 2,195. At 10 on top. 2,205. 2.2. 2.20. 2,220. 2,220. Good luck. There's fresh competition at 2,220. No one turned up today. You think, what's wrong with it? Market value presenting itself now at 2,220. 5 or 10? 5. I'll take your 5 at 25. At 25. Absolutely selling today. Absolutely selling today at 2,200 at 25. At 2,225, what do we say at 10? Haven't forgotten about you guys over here. Anyone else holding back for that matter? On the market, playing for keeps, sold tickets going on the board. 2,225. 2,250. Got it now. The longer you wait, the more you pay, unfortunately. At 2,230 and 5. At 2,235. At 2,235. At 2,235 bids here. Been with me all the way. At 2,235. What do we say, ladies? Feel free to get in front.
4-5.
At 2,235 it's here, Felicity. 10 on top would be 4-5. 15 on top would be even better. What do we say? As I said, went to school locally, know my numbers, wasn't a mathematician, but 2,235.
Yep.
Highest bid is here.
5, Sam?
What's that?
224.
224. At 224, we're very polite. Number 5, okay, at 45. At 45, it's here. At 2,245. At 2,245. At 45, why don't we try something bigger, Felicity? I think we need a knockout bid. At 2,245, offer you the same opportunity, guys. At 2,245, calling it 3 times. Can't be any further than that. Been really great. Once in at 2,245. Twice the call now at 2,245. at 50 now, and 55 at 55. Not going away. Market value presenting itself. 3 competitive bidders. Next one that comes up, vendor wants a little bit more. Market's prepared to pay a little bit more because we've set a precedence here today. At 2,255,000, bids here. At 55. At 55 against you guys, I'm sorry. At 2,255,000. I haven't lost you forever. I haven't lost you forever, not yet. At 2,255,000, first time. At 2,255, 60. At 60 and 65, they're going to make you call it 3 times each time, I can tell you that. At 2,265. At 2,265, it's okay.
65?
At 65, I've got it here. I've already got it at 65. The longer you wait, the more you pay, I'm telling you. At 2,265. At 2,265, highest bidder in the book seat, cool
70?
as a cucumber. I'll do 70. Yeah, at 70. At 2 and 5. At 2,275. Little ones aren't working, guys. Have a think about a knockout bid if you may. At 2,275. At 2,275, it's against you, Sebastian, there. At 2,275. Bids here. Against you now, 2,275,000. Why don't you try them on at 2,3? Why don't you try them at 2,3?
We go 2-3.
You'll go 2,3, even better. At 2,3. Longer you wait, more you pay. 2,300,000 at 5. And 5 got it now. At 2,305,000. Against you now. Appreciate the effort. You've got to stretch and fight for good quality real estate. It's always been that way. It's always going to be that way. At 2,305,000 bids here. At 2,305,000, Felicity, 2,305,000. At 2,305,000,
10?
first time and 10 on top.
2,310.
I thought I'd try anyway.
Almost.
231. At 231, it's here. At 231 and 5. And 5, very polite. I appreciate it. At 2,315,000 against you now, Felicity, and against you. At 30, good bidding. At 2,330,000 and 5. At 2,335,000. At 2,335,000. At 2,335,000 it is. At 2,335,000. 235 I think is a good move. 24 is even better, and 25 is even better than that. At 2,335,000 it's here. At 2,335,000.
2,4.
2,4. 2,4? 2,400,000.
2,4 or 2,3? Oh. 2,340? So yeah,
2,335,000. I'll let you work the numbers out. I'll call it 234. At
No, I was like, that's
234 and
good bidding.
5 and 45. At 2,345.
Yeah.
5 with fire. Low stock levels. Good quality family homes. Very rarely offered, especially in this neighbourhood. At 2,340,000. 5, it's here.
5.
At 5, it's here, Felicity. At 5, they're coming back with 5 each time, let me tell you. At 2,345,000, first time. At 2,345. 5, got it here. 2,375, even better.
Sorry.
All right, he always likes to one up you, Felicity, you know that. At 2,375. Welcome back, guys. At 5, at 80. At 2,380, not going away.
380.
Have confidence in that. Have absolute confidence in they won't go away. $2,380,000 bids here. Against you now, 2,4 makes sense. Mentioned it earlier. It might just do the trick. At 2,380,000 bids here, not from the tree, people in front of it. At 2,380,000, first time calling at 2,380.
Yeah.
I've mentioned it a few times. Twice in at 2,380. Let me know if we're here at 85.
90.
And 90 saw it here first. Why don't you go to 2,4? Okay. At 2,395, appreciate that. Left the door open, ladies and gents. At 2,395. At 2,395,000, bids here. Bids here at 2,395. Can only sell it to one of you, unfortunately. Unless you want it. At 2,4, got it. And 5. Got it now at 5. At 2,405. At 2,405,000. It's at 2,405. At $2,405,000. First time at 2 and 10 on top.
2,410.
I always try it,
In
don't I?
total,
At
Sam.
2,410. At 2,410 and 5 and 15. Why don't you go to 2,450? 2,450 knockout bid. 2,415 bids here. $2,415,000. At 2,415. Fought the good fight at 2,420. Don't leave me now, guys, at 2,425. At 2,425. At 2,425. Why don't we try something stronger? I really, really encourage it. At 2425, at 2,425,000. First time, let me know if we're here, sub, please. Twice at 2425. Instruction time.
Another 5.
Mouth's getting dry at 2,430,000. At 2,405 at 35. At 2,450, can I say?
Another 5.
At 5, okay, 2,440 and 45. At 2,445, guys, I really encourage, put some distance between you and them. At 2,445. At 2,445. At 2,445, are we in or out, Felicity? Need to know. At 2,445. First time at 2,445. Twice the call at 2,445.
Another 5.
Got it here first. Got it here first.
Next one.
At 5 and 55. At 2,455. At 2,455. At 2,455. At 2,455. Why don't we make it an even 2,5 and call it a day? At 2,455. At 55, it's here. Why don't we jump at $45,000? Put some distance between you and them. At 2,455. 246. At 246 and 5. At 2,465. At 2,465. Bids here. At 2,465. At 2,465. Might have done the trick, guys. Body language at 2,465. First time at 2,465. Twice now calling.
7-5.
And 7.5. And 5 at 80. At 2,480. At 2,480. Not going away. Can you blame them? Beautiful family home. North facing. Coming into those beautiful months now. It's going to be soaked full of sunlight. At 2,480,000 it's here. At 2,480.
85?
At 85.
Sam, 2.5.
At 251. At 251 and 5 at 2515. At 2515, it's a bit of a tongue twister at 2515. With me all the way. Try something else. I appreciate the efforts, guys. You've got to stretch and fight. Always going to do that for good quality real estate. It's at 2515, it's here. At 2,515. At 2,515. 525 and 5 at 30. At 2525 and it's 30 now already, Felicity. At 2530. At 2,530,000. At 2,530, haven't forgotten about you guys. Put some distance in there. At 2,530, bids here. At 2,530. I hope I'm not excluding anyone. Please let me know. At $2,530,000 and 5. And 5 more. At 2,540. At 2,540. At 2,540. Why don't I just make something, a crazy comment? Why don't we go to 2.6? At 2,540. It might just do the trick. At 2,540, haven't forgotten about you guys. Decision time. Don't walk away with regret. You're in it, up to your eyeballs. At 2,540.
255.
At 255. At 55. At 2,555. At 2,555, just visualising the number. At 2,555. Why don't we go to 2.6? Suggested it. At 2,555,000. First time calling now. At 2,555. Second time calling at 2,555,000. Third and final call. No, it's here. It's here. It's 2,555. Don't worry, guys.
Sorry, guys, I haven't looked up yet.
2,555. Once, twice, 60, and 5 at 65. At 2,565. At 2,565, Felicity 2.6 just needs to be the number, surely. At 2,565,000. At 2,565, if you're here, guys, knockout bid. I'm calling it at 2,565,000. First time calling now at 2,565. Twice the call at 2,565. Third and final call
7-5.
at 7.5 and 80 or 2.6. I appreciate it. I've asked all day at 2,580,000. Thank you guys. At 2,580,000, you're not going to make me call it 3 more times. At $2,580,000, bids here. Calling it 3 times, Felicity. Decision time. First time at 2,580. Twice at 2,580.
85.
85. And 90 or 26 at 90. At 90 at 2,590. If you can't have a laugh, what's the point, hey? At 2,590,000. At 2,590,000, bids here. 26, we're close. At $2,590,000. First time at 2,590. Twice calling
26.
at
2605.
2605. I like the strategy in 5. At 261. At 2,610,000. At 2,610,000, bids here. At 2,610,000. If no one turned up today, no one bid, you'd think what's wrong with it. This is market value, ladies and gentlemen. 2,610,000. If we're here, guys, let me know. Are we definitely out? I appreciate that. Looks like it could be a 2-horse race, guys. 2,615,000. At 15, got it at 20. At 2,620. At 2,620. First time at 2,620. Twice at 2,620.
Stop.
Third and final call at $2,620,000. You want to put that on the phone? I can charge.
In
Are you sure?
In Russia.
In Russia? No, I'm not Russian anywhere. No. At 2,620. At 2,620. Let me know if I've got your best. What else? 5 and got it. 2,625 and 30. Why don't you go to 265? 2,630 at 2,630. At 2,630 bids here. At $2,630,000. Give it one last shot. Don't walk away with regret. You don't want to walk away with regret. Is there anything else on the shopping list? If there's not, I implore you to stretch. At $2,630,000, been with me all the way. Anyone else holding back for that matter, looks like you fought the good fight. At 2,630, bids here. Let me know if we're here, please, Felicity. No late bids can be accepted. Now's the opportunity, guys. No, you're sure. At 2,630, first, second, third, and 5.
Sorry.
At 35 and 40. At 2,640.
Sorry.
At 2,640, I'm definitely going to be burnt tonight, Felicity. At $2,640,000. At 2,640, 3 times. Why don't we really jump it? Last hurrah. Once at 2,640. Twice at 2,640. Third and final call at $2,640,000. 5 and 50 at 2,650. At 2,650, it's here. At 2,650. They mean business today, Felicity. At 2,650. At 265. At 265, it's here.
They've eaten down the street.
They've eaten down the street. Yeah,
They
they're
know
filled
what's
up, ready to
around.
go. Absolutely. They know what they're buying. Absolutely. At 2,650,000. I'm sorry, I don't have another one at this point. At $2,650,000. Anyone else holding back for that matter? Let me know if you're here, guys. At $2,650,000. First time at 2,650. Twice now at 2,650. Third and final call at $2,650,000. Are we definitely done? I appreciate that. We'll try and find you something else. Looking good. First, second, third, final call at $2,650,000. Property's going. Sold. Congratulations and welcome to the neighbourhood. Commiserations to our underbidders. Thank you all for your attendance and have a wonderful weekend.
No,
Thank you.
I was like, oh my gosh, I can't even count now.